like I said, I want to rewatch this bit of Amber raging and lying. And then I want to watch that apathetic facts video.
Okay, guys, so I personally hate that I even have to talk about this, but I'm going to, because not only is it important to me, but it's also important to my mom. I don't even really know where to start.
I don't think it really matters to Amber that it's important to her mom.
No, it matters to Amber because Amber is affected.
Yes.
Always Amber's most affected.
I'm sneaking ammo. Oh, look at that. She's got the emojis right.
Aw, cute.
No wrench. You know the rules. And so do I.
So there is a reaction channel that begs for more side characters on my channel.
Turned out it was Jordy.
That's what I heard.
It was, oh lordy, it's Jordy.
And they've also begged for my mom to be in my videos. So in my newest video, my mom waves at the camera. You see her hand for a second, and then you see her face for a second. That is literally it. And so this reaction channel took it upon themselves to sit there and read.
That's literally it. That's the only thing anyone has ever heard or seen of my mother. Just 1 second of her face and hand.
That is also a blatant lie.
Yeah. That's it.
Because her mom was in the vlogs when she was visiting when Amber had the big C.
Even if we had never seen her mom, Amber has told us plenty enough about her mom to know who she is.
Every single charge that my mom has or has not, which I'll explain in a second, gotten in her past. So before I clarify or whatever it may be, any of the charges, I just want to say, like, how does...
I like how charges is in air quotes. Even though it's not charges, it's convictions.
Yeah, it's pled guilty to.
anyone expect me to have side characters on my channel if things like this happen? I'm sorry, but listing off my mom's past charges...
Sam from Sam and Yabba called the courthouse from a stream today, no crime against animals. It's there.
But
And
it says, like the statute is something like harmed, abused, killed, or prevented, like interfered in the job of a service animal. So it could be like you just interfered in a service animal doing its job all the way up until you unalived it.
Yeah.
And it's all under the same category.
Yeah. It was a typo, apparently. That's one hell of an extra charge typo. I don't know if I'm buying that.
That's interesting.
I
would think that if that's the case, her mother could call the courthouse and get that taken off.
Yeah, you would think that.
And if it's like people are messaging my mom, she's really upset about this thing that didn't
she
happen.
would take the steps.
She would have already called the courthouse and figured out why that's on there.
Think.
I would have.
Yeah.
Things that she's done over a decade ago on your YouTube channel during a live stream while reacting
That is one. Yeah, it's one hell of a typo.
to my videos, my current videos, is tacky. It's super tacky, and it's all for
Keep this in mind. It's tacky. It's tacky.
monetization reasons, and I think it's really pathetic, honestly. So by doing this, like, do you think that's gonna make my mom want to continue being on my channel when people...
I don't think it really matters, honestly. If your mom wants to continue, that's a you thing. It does nothing to us.
Yeah.
People are literally spreading false rumors about her, and not only that, but digging up things that she did 2 decades ago. So this reaction channel listed off quite a few things, and yes, some of them my mom very much did. My mom is not afraid to admit to the things that she did during her addiction, because when she was on drugs, she did a lot of things that she is very ashamed of, but everything she...
Yeah, and also beating your own mother is pretty tacky and pathetic.
It confronts head on. She takes accountability. Even to this day, she takes accountability for things that she did even when I was just a child. She has a lot of regrets. I can definitely say that, but she is almost a decade sober. I never in a million years thought that would happen. Like, truly. Like, my mom is the epitome of you can change. You can be a better person, and you can do good things.
I don't know how it works, and I would never take the initiative to do it because I'm lazy. But I'm pretty sure that, like, court records also include all transcripts from actual court hearings that are findable somewhere.
I have no idea.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
My mom has been to jail. My mom has been to prison. She has been in and out of jail and prison ever since I was just a little girl. Same with my dad. That is what I grew up with, what I had to deal with. I don't...
But you said you didn't grow up with it.
She changes her mind a lot about things that happened or did not happen.
The story is very fluid.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional. I don't talk a lot about these things. Fuck.
And Jordy brought up a really good point about this, that she's acting like she's crying. She's not actually crying, but she's trying to manipulate people and to feel bad for her.
Yes, she absolutely is. And she's also putting this video out for her mother to see. As a mom, I'm really sticking up for you, and I'm really hurt that people would ever say a bad thing about you. And I would really hope that her mother would actually look into the things that Amber has said about her.
Oh, God.
Rather than just believe my daughter loves me and she's so sweet and she would never want anyone to talk bad about me on the internet, when Amber spent 10 years doing that.
I'm just saying, if anyone's curious, it's 21 for the pity party.
The fact that I feel pressured to have to speak on this is ridiculous.
The fact that I feel pressured.
I mean, she didn't have to speak on this.
No, she could have ignored it like literally everything else.
According to everyone, this has been brought up in Amberverse many times before. Lots of times before, people have talked about her mother in this animal charge. So why then did she not look into it herself? Ask her mother about it then. Then her mother could figure out why this charge that didn't happen is on her record.
Yeah, this has been a thing for a long time.
Like, why is she bringing... Other times, she just surely saw that people were talking about it, completely ignored it. It died down. Everyone forgot about it for another couple years, whatever, till it got brought up again. This time, she is making a whole bunch of new people aware about it. She's 200,000 subscribers, and she's putting it out there. Why?
Yep.
Why?
That's a good question. It's alleged for now. Also, Amber wanted us to hate her mom. Oh, we're going to get into that. Don't worry.
Yep.
Ridiculous. And it's so wrong on so many levels. And I know a lot of people are just not going to care. Like, I just feel like this is wrong. But I just feel like I have to speak on this because it's not fair. But yes, that is something I dealt with. I was in foster care for a reason. These are things that I do not really talk about. And it's because everything that I say, everything that I do, there's always speculation. There's always people calling me a liar. And I think the subject of foster...
Have you ever considered not lying about everything?
I mean, that would make people question her much less, I imagine.
Now, the thing with all of this is it is pretty apparent that Amber probably...
It's Asian sex noises.
No one cares!
At least Amber hasn't spent the last 8 years shitting all over... Oh, I'm sorry. Like Amber hasn't spent the last 8 years shitting on her own mother. The woman is a saint, apparently. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It has been a narrative, an unquestionable narrative, that Amber's parents were pieces of shit. Now we're just supposed to go, oh, okay.
Everything bad ever that happened to Amber in her life is because of how bad her childhood was, because of how bad of a mother she had. But now,
no, don't touch me there. Gross old hands off my no square. Snow.
Ooh, look at that. Look, you can't even see it. Oh, just Jamie.
Oh, just Jamie.
No one cares!
Salad, get moving. We're supposed to believe that woman who allowed Amber's words, an adult male family friend, to essay Amber, would never consider hurting animals. Okay, girl. It's a good point.
Yeah, I am fine to believe she didn't actually hurt the dog. I mean, to see that the charge includes anything from interfering in its job, that could be literally anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe she actually murdered a dog. I don't
Probably
believe
not.
that. That's like the farthest of the extreme.
Yeah. And just Jamie said, will you... Is 69,000 Stream Boss HP. That is definitely overthrowable, by the way. Nice, by the way, woman Stream Boss.
Yeah.
Foster care, what I experienced in foster care, why I was in foster care. Those are things.
Yeah, but even what you said you experienced in foster care is a very fluid story.
Mm-hmm.
That it's hard for me to touch on because some of the things I went through sounds like a lie, sounds exaggerated, sounds insane, but it's very much stuff that I went through. I'm not saying my life was any worse than anyone else's, it doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is that yes, my mom has made...
I think somebody in my comments section clocked it, nailed it the other day. When they were like, Amber's mom was probably investigated by CPS. She got taken away for a couple months. And to Amber, that means she was an orphan child.
Yeah, I could see that. I love how Amber's like, oh, I'm not saying I've had it better or worse than anybody else. Like, Amber, constantly tries to make a point how she's had it worse than anybody. All the time. It's poor Amber. Poor Amber. Everyone should feel so bad for poor Amber.
Some lousy choices. There's a rumor going around that my mom went to prison for 5 years for killing a service animal. I am telling you right now, that never happened. You have the wrong person. My mom has never been to prison for 5 years, period. The longest she was ever in never happened. You have the wrong person. My mom has never been to prison for 5 years, period. The longest she was ever in prison
All right, hold it.
was for 2 years.
Also,
and that was for drug-related charges.
Hold on.
Okay.
I am telling you right now, that never happened. You have the wrong person. My mom has never been to prison for 5 years, period. The longest she was ever in prison was for 2 years.
Yesterday, my mother was sentenced to prison for 5 years and 26 days. For 5 years and 26 days. Found out that she has to serve every single one of those days. Found out that she has to serve every single one of those days.
It's very possible she got out in 2. That happens a lot.
Probably.
Really hard for me to grasp. I was completely numb when I found out yesterday. I was shocked, and I woke up this morning and it all kind of like just hit me all at once, and I could not stop crying, and I'm just so
It all her stories are very fluid.
But she is very careful with her wording. My mom never went to prison for 5 years because she got out early.
Yep.
Usually you don't do the full amount of time.
Exactly.
And my mom never killed a service dog. Okay, she probably didn't.
Yep.
There was something there, but she probably didn't do that thing.
Yep.
She's very careful with
My
her
mom
words.
would never hurt an animal. And my mom, like...
Amber, you either unalived or let out a cat so you could get a cat.
That's
So
true.
the shit apple doesn't fall far from the shit tree.
She doesn't care what people think of her, but my mom...
When she was also arguing with Destiny, she spilled some tea about Destiny's mom wanting to shoot a dog or something like that.
Yeah, that was big tea to her, was that Destiny had a dog that bit some kid, and Destiny's stepdad or whoever it was, they said the dog had to be put down, so he did it himself.
Right.
And then
that's just tea.
And then another piece of big tea was that Destiny's brother is a drug addict.
Yeah. So it's okay to tea about other people's animal issues or drug problems, but not Amber's.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Leahy, glad you caught it. Someone in Girl World's going to file for the court transcripts? Probably.
Came to me about
Probably.
this. Not only people are messaging me privately about it, but they're messaging my mom about it. My mom...
It's possible that it could be a typo. But that is one hell of a fucking typo.
Yeah, that's a big typo.
I think, personally, I believe that if it is a typo, it needs to be proved that it's a typo. Because what is the fucking likelihood?
Yeah, that's not very likely.
was
It is
confused.
not
She had
very likely at all. It's more likely that her mother got into a physical altercation with a person who had a service dog.
That seems possible.
That's what I think. I keep seeing comments,
where this
people
came from.
saying, "Oh, it was probably a police dog." Definitely not a police dog.
Absolutely not a police
Definitely
dog.
wasn't. But someone who had a service dog who she got physical with, because she has a lot of assault and physical type charges.
Yeah.
So it seems like she liked to get high and fight. Probably somebody had a service dog.
because she has never done that. It's obviously another person with the same name as my mom because that has never happened. And if she...
But that's a lie.
Yeah.
Your mom pled guilty to assaulting your grandma.
What doesn't make sense here is people are saying Sam talked to the clerk of courts and the police records clerk. They looked through the records and no mention of any animal. But the records are online, and the records, that's exactly what they would have been looking through, is that same list of records. Like the court docket online is the same one that the clerk of courts would be pulling up on their computer to look at. It's the same docket. It's a publicly available docket from the courthouse, and then you can access it online.
I wonder if Sam maybe got the wrong person.
That's possible. Or the person that she talked to got the wrong person.
Yeah, there's some miscommunication somewhere.
Right. Because
in this whole thing, there's miscommunication. It's
not like there's all these charges listed, and the clerk of courts has more access to the same public docket from a decade ago.
Okay, it's not the wrong person or mugshots in there. So it's just online wrong? Like, I don't know. The math ain't mathin' to me.
It doesn't make sense.
She did do something like that, she would be the one to admit it. The things that she admits to, the things that she has done in the past, some of it, it's hard for her to admit to. But the fact is, who you are in active addiction is not your true self. And I'm not making excuses for her.
Can't be 5 years in prison for just impeding the dog from doing its job. It wasn't just, it was an assault charge too.
Yeah, it was aggravated assault against the mom.
Yeah, she assaulted her mother, we think, is that same case.
No, I think it's confirmed that it was the mom.
Yeah, but it was the assault charge, and then the dog thing was there at the same time.
We're a completely different person. But I'm not going to sit here and justify the things that she's done. Neither me or my mom want to do that. But we want to make it very clear that if you're going to name off my mom's charges for a monetization gain on your behalf, at least get your facts straight and stop spreading rumors that aren't real. This is not something that I will be speaking about. It's not something that I'm going to...
Sam was given the info from the police report. Look, man, I'm not saying Sam has to prove this. This is on Amber and her mom to prove.
That's true.
Sam... okay for doing the due diligence, fine, but I think this is on Amber and her mom to prove that it's not true, because if they have known about this for a long time, if I had known about this, I would be doing literally everything within my power to get it fixed.
Absolutely.
Because you do a background check, you do any of that, it's going to show up that you abused a service animal.
Yeah.
People will deny you any job where service animals could be around.
Right.
That's any retail job, any public facing job anywhere, office jobs. No one's going to want to hire somebody who has that on their record.
You would want to get that fixed immediately.
Come back on here, clarify this, clarify that, because I think it's bullshit that I even have to do this to begin with. My mom showed her face for a second. And this is the way that reaction channel is going to behave. It's not a good look. I just wish people would get to know the woman that she is now.
My mom showed her face for a second. My mom has never existed online. No one's ever heard anything about my mother ever before, except for that 1 second of her smiling my video. She knows damn well that's not true.
But the animal thing is, while it is a thing that is worth talking about, that's not my focus here right now.
It's just Amber lying.
Because now that the animal thing has been pulled into question, that is not exactly what I'm focusing on. It's how Amber got so mad about other people talking about her family.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play how she talks about her family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she did this 20 years ago.
Though.
Oh, she did this
because
15
it was only
years ago.
1 second ever of people hearing about her.
I just think overall, what my mom did 15 years ago, 20 years ago, doesn't need to be talked about. Like, why does it matter? People literally live lifetimes.
What my mom did 20 years ago doesn't need to be talked about. Right, Amber? Right.
But here you are.
What your mom did 20 years ago doesn't need to be talked about.
So I think we remember all this, right?
Yeah.
So we're all caught up enough?
Yeah, let's see all the 20 years of talking about what her mother did.
So, yeah, let's... I'm going to link Apathetic Facts in the chat. Okay, I'm going to pin their video to at some point, as soon as it lets me. I'm going to pin their video to the top of the chat. Let's see how Amber talks about her parents.
Mm-hmm. No one should ever talk about what someone did 20 years ago.
Because...
Okay, guys, before we get into this, make sure you've hit the like and did the sharing and all that stuff. The everything with the thing and the stuff and the thing. We're 30% to goal.
Of success. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I'm afraid I'll...
That's the bigger issue, is that the charge is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
You would think for somebody with a sheet that long,
right,
they would be more precise about it.
You would think. I just find it so funny that Amber acts like no one should know anything about her mother because she's only ever been on the video for a second.
Then do something.
Do I choose health or do I choose money? Girl, I, as a person, am nowhere near as bad as Hater Nation. And I say that with my chest. Literally with my chest. I did not create this community at all. It's fat phobia.
No one cares!
As some of you may or may not know, recently after not having any side characters on her channel in quite a while, Amber has decided to feature her mom in her videos. With that has come the internet sleuths who brought up Amber's mom's pretty heinous criminal record. Recently, she scolded reaction channels for talking about her mom's past and monetizing it.
I had a conversation with Jordy about this, and I was unsubbed from him. Don't know how that happened, but YouTube just straight up unsubbed me from his channel. And two things. One, can I pull it to the exact point here? I think it was down here.
I'm sorry that this vlog took this turn, but right now this is reality.
Oh, hi.
But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. This turn, and it better not get
Oh, here we go. This part
reaction
right
channel
here.
got a laugh out of it. I think it's really sad, but I'm not gonna let this get me down, and it better not get my mom down because she has worked way too hard to feel bad about herself. I'm sorry that this vlog.
She is
took this
already
turn,
laying
but
the groundwork to blame reaction channels if her mom relapses.
Yeah, not herself. It won't be her fault. It'll be a reaction channel's fault that her mom doesn't watch or know anything about other than what Amber tells her.
Amber is so manipulative. She is laying the groundwork for if her mom relapses.
Yep.
And people in Jordy's chat were saying it was bait and all that shit. And I was talking to him and I messaged him. I'm like, this is not just bait for you. This is reaction channel bait. She already reported the subreddit.
Yep.
She's probably reporting this shit out of you and Zachary Michael.
Yeah.
Like, this is to get reaction. You're addiction shaming. You're bringing up criminal histories. You're doing, this is all report bait.
It probably is.
And she is
I don't
more.
think anybody's addiction shaming her
Oh,
mom.
of course not. But that's what she's going to say.
Right.
And I think she is 100. And I'm more cynical than the average bear when it comes to her. But I 150% think that she would absolutely throw her mom under the bus if she feels like it can take down reaction channels and Reddits and shit like that.
That is very true.
I think she has no issue doing that.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. She has no issue talking negatively about her mother online.
Oh,
Why does she have issue with other people doing it?
We're about to get into that.
But before we begin, let's not forget the time when Destiny spilled all sorts of tea about Amber, and in order to get back at her, Amber wanted to spill some tea about Destiny. Except Amber lied and was super hypocritical in telling this story, knowing full well what her mom has done.
What's one of the worst things Destiny ever did? She had a dog named Cash, who I actually would babysit when he was a puppy. I guess Cash wasn't trained very well. Cash ended up biting like a little girl.
Oh, we just covered this.
Right, 20. Since we've been
We just covered all this.
Come on, Cash, you're gonna go with us today and run around
and Reid.
And we just covered this. Here we go.
And his public parents for
YouTube
purposes for the past decade.
Hi.
If you guys haven't caught the gist of it yet, this is a compilation of all the times Amber has drug her mom through the mud for monetization.
For monetization, yeah. She's made more money talking about her mom than any reaction channel ever.
And she has brought up the money aspect of this.
That's what she's most bothered about.
At least 4 times in her video.
Yep. That's what
laughed and monetized, talking about my mother's addiction.
Mm-hmm. And no, I don't think that even the conversations weren't about her mother's addiction. It was about her criminal history.
Yeah. Unless she thinks addicts automatically have insane, violent criminal histories.
Yeah, no. No, they don't.
So, guys, remember, only Amber's allowed to make money off this.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Streams, AdSense, Super Chats, that's all bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Amberlynn Reid. I do YouTube for a living. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I eat, pay electricity. I have a roof over my head, a pillow to lay on at night.
I think that might have something to do with it, Lappa, is that she's not making nearly as much money as she thought, because this whole thing came up like 2 days after AdSense came out. And I was telling Miss Sin, like, you can see how much you've earned on the back end of YouTube if you bother to look. But my check was bad this month. My check was very bad.
Yeah, Amber's probably was too.
So it's there's probably a lot of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a very, very toxic and unhealthy family. When I was 9, I was taken from class by a cop who took me and my brothers
9
to a children's shelter. From then on, I became a ward of the state, and I was in foster care until the age of 18. My parents were drug addicts. They neglected me. I lived in a trailer that was falling apart with mold and holes. I saw my dad hit my mom more times than I can even count. I don't cry for views. Hello, everybody.
I I don't cry for views.
So this is a random video. A while back,
She's pulling a foodie and the month strong. Hey man, I'm just trying to see some farts.
had somebody suggest that they wanted me to kind of talk about my foster care experience because, as some of you may know, I was in foster care from the ages of 8 to 18.
9 to 8.
Huh, yeah.
I wasn't only in foster care, like foster homes. I was also in group homes and.
So the entire time, from 8 to 18.
Yeah, but
foster
there were
care.
so many stories where she talked about being with her mom and her dad as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense at all.
Already 9 to 8.
Children's shelters, you can ask me about that as well. And you can also ask me about why I was in foster care and what kind of things I went through at home on a daily basis. Please do leave those questions because that'll...
Please ask me. Please ask me more about how shitty my mom is. If you want to hear more about my shitty childhood, my awful parents, please leave me those questions.
We cry for views and subscriptions. Nah, man, we cry for clubs.
Oh,
help
boy.
me to make another video regarding...
Ooh. I want to get a club. No, like a club.
To do what with?
Club.
I thought you would have meant a club sandwich.
I could go for that too. And get nice Dagwood. No, I want like a UGG club.
Greg.
I want a Grug leopard print loincloth. Like a big hunk of wood that's lumpy for some reason. Like I want one of those.
Okay.
Regarding it, answering every
We cry for wrenchless ammo.
question you guys have because I will answer every single question in a video, I promise. Have you ever felt like you are living in a world with no lights?
What is the low BMI voice?
Lying voices.
Sin has a raging club right now.
Too many people but no choices. Thrown here, thrown there. Escaping nothing but placed everywhere.
Just cute cat.
Months before I was living in hell. Meth aroma, hiding Tiir Street.
Wait, what was that? Did she just say metharoni?
I have a meow.
Months before I was living in hell. Meth aroma, hiding
Oh, I thought she said metharoni.
Tiir Street pillowcases and carved depression on a mattress filled with sad faces. Why did my parents never give love once known? I hope you guys enjoyed it, and again, please just leave your comments down below because
The main food group sandwich. You guys are making my tummy rumble. I'm so hungry.
I cannot stand the voice that she's using right now. This is like grating at me. Please leave me more questions. I would love to tell you more about my abusive parents. It's so fucking creepy. Why? Why are we doing this? Why?
I just want a sandwich.
I just want to talk about
I just
my
want a
abusive
sandwich.
mother.
A club.
The meth aroma.
Turkey. Ham.
I cannot stand this.
Little lettuce. Salami. Cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear, do I want to go like a provolone? Maybe even Swiss. Probably cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little Miracle Whip, even mayonnaise.
Okay, that's enough.
Tomato.
Okay.
Sesame seed bun.
Okay, calm down.
I'm so... Can you tell I'm hungry?
I can tell.
Yes! We cry for club sandwich.
No one cares about your sandwich.
Oh my god, I miss you guys. I was so busy over the weekend, then I got sick. What did I miss?
Amber being
what
gross.
is Amber crying about now? Is this when she was talking all quiet? I had to go train my PTSD dog tomorrow so he can come home sooner. Love y'all. Well, thank you, Tina. Glad you're doing well. I appreciate that. And
I'm excited about your dog, Tina.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
Don't let Amber's mom near your dog, Tina.
Yeah, just play it safe. Just hedge your bets there. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. We are almost 40% to goal.
Yes, we are.
Guys, make sure you have smash that like and all that stuff. Go cry to someone else. I'm hungry. I have pork loin. Nah.
Yeah.
Not a big pork fan. Hungry sin. We cry for sandwichless sin. I have a big kahuna. And guess what I have? A stack of wrenches.
Please, I really want your questions. I have no issue talking about what I went through.
That being said, I could
Please
fucking
ask
wreck
me
a kahuna.
questions. I would like to make up stories about my sad childhood.
Or anything to that effect.
I learned it at school.
Anti-pork. I'm just not a big fan. I like sausage. I like bacon's okay. I've got kind of moved past enjoying bacon the way I used to.
Are you okay?
I
Do you have a fever?
I like sausage.
Who moves past bacon?
I love bratwurst.
Foodie booty.
I love bratwurst. But pork chops, eh. You know what I think it is bacon is in too much. Bacon should have never left burgers, BLTs, and breakfast side.
That's all I would have it on now still.
But bacon isn't everything.
Cool. No, it was my mom. And then I went to school and I was like, you guys, listen, look how cool. I think I was in like first grade because it was like a year or two before I got taken from my parents. So
this is random.
The more you talk, the more I'm inclined to leave the stream and rain my fridge.
But I wanted to show you guys a picture of my brother. If you guys don't know, I'm actually communicating with my brother.
I had an excellent pastrami sandwich the other day.
Communicating with both of my parents. My dad just got surgery, so I've been checking up on him. So this is my brother, and that's his girlfriend's kid. So I just kind of wanted you guys to see, like, put a image to him. So yeah, that's my brother. I'm hoping one day that me and him could visit each other, and he already said, like, he wants to be
at this time. How old? Amber would have been what, mid-20s here?
Mm-hmm.
So in this timeline, according to her, she would have just been out of foster care for a handful of years.
Well, no, this was in the Becky era when she lived in Lexington, so late 20s.
Oh, so she'd been out of foster care for 10 years, and she's great relationship with her father, who was super abusive, forced her to live in a group home for a decade.
Yep.
But she's really concerned and talking to him about his health every day.
Uh-huh.
It's weird because I feel like I don't feel like I would really give a shit if my abusive father had surgery after I had to live in a group home for 10 years because he was a fucking crackhead.
Not only that, but the stuff that she claimed when she was supposedly in foster care, but living at home in foster care, that she let her father's friends do to her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All up in the videos.
Okay, I could fuck up some bacon wrapped jalapeno popper. I'm not a big fan of ribs. I like the Chinese.
Ribs are gross.
Short ribs.
So I'm like so excited for that. Yay!
So nothing like a little bit of throwback. So I was on Facebook and I saw this photo of me. This is from when I was 11. I was in foster care. I was visiting my parents. This is a little room that we used to be in to visit once a week.
So raw. This content is going to be so raw. This is me spilling tea I've never spilled before. My foster care experience. And honestly, I have tried so hard to like do whole videos dedicated to that. It would take a lifetime. A lot happened.
Tea I've never spilled before. I've done whole videos about this. What?
I didn't even catch that.
During my whole foster care era, to maybe work my way up to talking a little more about it, we'll talk about the first few hours after I was taken from my parents. So I was in elementary school. I was like 8 or 9 years old. I remember getting called into the office. So I get called into the office and there is a police officer.
Hold on, I gotta pull it back.
I was taken from my parents. So I was in elementary school. I was like 8 or 9 years old. I remember
8 or 9.
Getting called into the office. So I get
You think you'd remember?
Called into the office and there is a police officer there. They also
You might remember 3rd grade. But that could be 8 or 9.
So called in my brother. So at the time I had 2 brothers. I had a brother who is a year younger than me. So he was going to the same elementary school as I was. And then I had a baby brother who was about 1 year old, maybe a little younger than that. So me and my brother get put in this cop car. Next I know, we have my little brother. I don't remember how we got him because I know we didn't go by obviously our home, which was a trailer, run down, moldy
holy drug infested, disgusting trailer. Next thing you know, we come to this like huge house. My baby brother's getting taken. I remember a woman with short hair standing at the doorway. Me and my brother were allowed to go and say bye. I was so like confused.
You would not, I don't think you would allow a child to go say bye to their abusive parents.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
And then they end up taking us to the police station, where I just remember.
I think that in that there, I think she was saying that they were dropping off the baby at some house.
Oh, maybe.
And she got to say goodbye to the baby, and then they took her to the police station.
See, Poltergeist, now you're talking more my language. Buffalo wing.
Sitting there for hours. I think they tried to explain to us what was happening, how they're gonna take us to a children's shelter, how my baby brother was in like this foster home. I guess the children's shelter didn't take babies. And then we get dropped off at this big building. We see like all these random staff and they're like asking us questions. Like there's so many questions and so much paperwork. I'm like, me and my brother are young. I had to get completely naked in the shower. They had to look all over my body. So in my first So Raw video, I'm pretty sure it was my first one, I talked about the first time I was taken from my parents in foster care. And I got some people saying like, what do you mean you were taken from your parents in a cop car? Like, you're such a liar. They don't put kids in cop cars. They did.
Yeah, they did for me.
No, I mean, that's
they do
not,
and
they don't handcuff you in a cop car, but they absolutely will take kids for a ride to the police station in a cop car.
Picking them up from school, though?
Will?
I just automatically default to whatever she's saying is not true.
Whatever she's saying is usually not true, but I mean, this is plausible.
I was actually taken from my parents twice. The one time that I told you guys, and then there was another time.
If she were at school when her parents, her caregiver, whatever home she lived in, went to jail for whatever reason, they would go to the school to get the children and take them somewhere.
I mean, it makes sense, but
you'd think they would, rather than pick up the children and drop them off at a group home, they would like call the mom or the aunt or the grandma or they would call another family member first, usually, you'd think.
It was actually a trial. My parents were able to fake it and say that they were sober, better, improved, they had jobs, etc., etc. So me and my brother got to live with our parents as what they called a trial. That trial was not successful. Things actually got worse and things got bad. So I was actually a teenager, very young teenager when this happened. And then I was actually taken from them again. And the story is so similar. I was at school. I got called into the office and there was a cop car with a cop, obviously. And I got taken from them. So both times I was taken from them, it was a cop who picked up me and my brother and we went in a cop car. So yes, that happened both times. Well, how come like there was like a car seat in the cop car? That doesn't make sense. Well, I know for a fact that there was a car seat in the cop car because
baby criminals.
My brother was in the car seat and it was his car seat.
Wait, I thought the brother was a baby the first time.
Right to jail.
I think
right
she's
to
talking
jail.
about both
Right
stories
away.
here.
Right to jail. Right to jail. Right away.
Violins for victim Lynn. Not bad. Not bad at all. Thank you very much, Ammo.
That also would make sense that they would have the. If
you're not going to just put the baby in the trunk.
Yeah, exactly. If she was at school and her mom and dad were riding around with the baby, getting high, and they got pulled over, they would take that baby and that baby's car seat, put him in the back, and go gather their other children from school while another officer took them to jail. That's exactly how it would happen.
Yeah.
So when the cop picked up my brother from our drug addict parents, they obviously got...
But remember, she's the only one allowed to talk about and monetize this.
She's allowed to talk about monetize this, and she was crying in that video about the fact that people on the internet are hearing bad things about my mom, who's a wonderful person. Mom, do you see me saying this about you right now? You're a wonderful person, and I don't want anyone to ever say anything bad about you online.
Yeah.
The car seat.
I want Amber's mom to see this.
Yep.
Well, I shared a 5-minute clip of me sharing something about my foster care, and it's like people literally had to dissect it so bad that like, no.
I think she's more bothered by the fact that people caught her in inconsistencies than anything else.
Yeah.
None of that's true. It's just like really. So I just wanted to clarify that yes, everything I said was completely true. Like that is the point of these videos, and the point of my YouTube is I want to be vulnerable and I want to share things with you guys. So not only did we get suspended, we had to go to this like court situation.
Even if her mother did hear all this shit that she's talked about her over the years, to Amber, she would say, well, that's my story. I'm allowed to tell my truth.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's what it is. Amber's allowed, nobody else is.
Yep.
Where at the time...
I'm going to talk about you now. I'm going to talk nice about you now, Mom. I need a personal driver.
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
I was actually living with my parents, like, for a trial to see if, like, they were fit to be parents or whatever. They failed, by the way. I was with my parents at the time, so it was me, my dad. He brought his friend. I don't know. They were on, like, so many drugs. I don't know why he would bring his friend, but okay. My biggest takeaway...
See, now, that I don't believe. You're going to court as a family, and Dad just brings his friends on drugs.
Wait, go back. Let me hear this again.
My parents, like, for a trial to see if, like, they were fit to be parents or whatever. They failed, by the way. I was with my parents at the time, so it was me, my dad. He brought his friend. I don't know. They were...
Okay, so the story changed already. They took me from school.
No,
but,
this is, she got to go back for a test.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's,
yeah.
You let me finish. I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
She gets taken from school the first time. The second time, she gets taken from school again, but after court with the dad where they failed the court hearing, they go to school, then get picked up from school again? Or is there a third trial run?
This is, she's talking, when she's saying trial here, she's using the word trial as in a trial of living with my parents.
No, I think it was an actual
and she's
trial.
also talking, and then here she's talking about when we went to the court, she's calling that a trial.
So which one did they take her from? Because they didn't take her from school and drop her back off at home and then wait for trial to take her again.
No, they took her from school. She got to have a trial, live with her parents, and then after so long, they go into court, and the judge reassesses.
But she just said she was with her parents.
Right, she would go with them.
So they took...
She was living with her parents during this trial run.
Yes.
Then they all go into court together, and a judge is going to reassess whether or not she can stay with them.
Then where did she get taken from school the second time?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Exactly.
They were on, like, so many drugs. I don't know why he would bring his friend, but okay. My biggest takeaway from the whole thing is that my dad stole a laptop from that building. He did. That's actually a story that I tell my friends all the time, that my dad stole a laptop from a courtroom. Y'all, I was 15 when that happened. No. I was actually 14. Yes, I was 14. I had just turned 14. So you were in foster care. Like, how did you get so big? Like, you didn't have money.
It's just me. I just automatically believe the opposite of whatever she says.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that there was a second trial, like an actual trial. I don't believe that happened. I don't believe the dad ever stole anything from the court.
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting.
Poor parents, like, yeah, it's definitely crazy, because one of the reasons why I was taken from my parents is neglect. That comes with all forms. Like, I remember when my mom came to visit me, and we talked so much about, like,
with her parents when she only drank Fiji water, or was that in the group home when she was so wealthy she would only drink Fiji water?
I just want to know when they did those Disney trips.
Yeah.
Finances when I was, like, younger, before I was put in foster care, and, like, I only had one pair of pants.
Feel like I should be taking notes. I need one of those cork boards with the red pins in it and string tie.
Pants.
I need a Wendigoal black or dry erase board.
Yes.
My dad would have rather spent money on getting in whatever form that he wanted than buy his own kids, like, clothing and stuff. And that also goes with, like, food.
But not Fiji water.
Yeah, but where did the Fiji water come from?
Food and this and that. All the foster homes I was ever in, group homes, like, that's not like a money heavy place. Like, it's always been very poor, like, low income place.
Susan.
And that's how I grew up. That's, like, based on my experiences. I suffered from several different types of abuse. I just never was physically abused by my parents. You guys have heard this.
That's also a change in the story.
Several times. They were drug addicts. They neglected us. I was put into foster care at a very young age, and I didn't get to leave foster care until I was 18. Every time I share like some things that have happened to me in the past, it's never pity party. It's never, oh, what was...
I mean, it sounds like pity party.
It's giving
that
pity
whole
party.
Poem and please ask me questions about my sad, sad childhood. I want to tell everything. Why? It seems pity party.
It's giving EU wee you wee you.
It really is.
EU wee you for sure.
It was me. Feel bad for me. When did you get your nose piercing? What made you get it? I love it. Thank you. I actually got it when I was 12. I was probably 11.
In foster care?
No. I probably just turned 12. I want a nose ring. I want it so bad. It was like a thought that just came into my head. I literally couldn't stop thinking it, couldn't stop speaking on it. And during the time I was living with my parents because I wasn't foster.
Wait, during the time I was living with my parents because I wasn't. Wait, let her finish the sentence.
I want a nose ring. I want it so bad. It was like a thought that just came into my head. I literally couldn't stop thinking it, couldn't stop speaking on it. And during the time I was living with my parents because I wasn't.
So 8, she was with her parents.
Mm-hmm.
And 14, she was with her parents.
And 12.
Okay.
The
12 is just now.
This is a whole lot of trial runs living with my parents for someone who was in foster care from 8 until 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
In foster care, I was living with them for like a trial to see if they were fit parents.
So this is the 3rd trial.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd trial.
Okay.
My dad surprised me and he took me and he was like, shh, don't tell your mom. And I went and got my nose pierced. And a few of my guy friends actually came with us, and it was a fun time.
Aaron Carter died.
Dad did a good job on their trial run, letting her get her nose pierced. He proved what a great parent he was.
When his first single came out, I actually was living with my parents. And you guys know I had a very bad childhood. So I turned to, like, as my parents were in the other room doing, or my dad was hitting my mom or whatever, like, I would turn to certain things. So
my dad was hitting my mom or whatever. Okay.
My views are getting lower. I used to be money hungry, and I think a big part of it, I didn't have money growing up at all. When I lived with my parents.
The people are saying what piercer would pierce a 12-year-old's nose.
Anyone who takes money.
And yeah, my mom took me to get my tongue pierced at 13. You just have to have a parent's permission.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
They don't
it's
care.
All money.
They might care now, but this was 30 years ago, so I mean that's.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
They didn't give a shit.
Poor, and when we did have money, they spent it on drugs, and that's just kind of
drugs, boat trips, Fiji water, Disney. You know.
No reality for that. And I never had anything. I had one pair of pants. I had a sweater I wore every day. And then when I was in foster homes, obviously I didn't have anything. Those foster homes weren't my homes. Now that I was finally getting all this money and I was able to.
One of these days, I'm going to set up my whiteboard and I'm going to write all of this down.
Okay.
To do what I wanted with it. So I had all this, money, and I was feeding into it, and I wanted more and more and more. So I'd find ways to reach an audience that would give me that kind of money. I ate meth. In high school, I found my parents' meth, and I took a bite. Just a little.
I can say I never did that.
I don't know why. My friend was over, and we were just like, oh, let's take a bite of this. Do you think...
Why would you take a bite of it?
Was that the meth story?
Yeah, no, this well, I don't, maybe. I thought in that story she was a young kid and found it on the ground and ate it because she didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Here she's saying she was in high school and her and her friend found the meth and decided, let's eat it.
Yeah, well, that's a story that had a couple different iterations. One, she was young, and the other, she was like mid-teens.
Right. And why? Clearly she has watched her parents use this drug for her whole life, so she knows that eating it is not how it works. But Amber would say, I'm gonna eat it. Why?
Any normal person went through what Amber did, still not believing, would have cut their parents off and never spoke to them again. Well,
yes.
Apparently most people have never needed a personal Uber driver.
And that too, yeah.
Or to get to 40% to goal. See?
Yes.
It's priorities.
childhood is why you binge. 100%. Because I started binging very young, 7 years old. I don't want to get into it, but it was just a really bad childhood. Everyone's circumstances are different, but for me, 100%, I blame my childhood. So these are actually stories.
Mom's fault. Hey, Mom, it's your fault. Why I'm fat now? You have to drive me to Target.
Have told me back when I lived with them. When I was 6 years old, when we would do Easter egg hunting, when it was Easter, obviously, every egg I'd pick up, I'd lick it, expecting it to taste like the color. I was,
you know what's weird?
5,
6, 7 years old doing Easter egg hunts. I've known many drug abusing families in my days, and never once did those drug addicts put on fucking Easter egg hunts for their children.
You would think.
Never once.
See, when she talks bad about it, it sounds like that meth couple from Breaking Bad with the kid in the back room.
I don't remember.
When the ATM smushes the guy's head.
Oh, yeah.
That's how she makes it sound.
That is how she makes it sound.
But then it's also day trips to Disney,
right,
and
that's
boating
how it would
and
actually
Fiji
be.
water.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
It was actually the night before Thanksgiving, and what my family used to do is my grandma
They could have been responsible users.
would cook the turkey.
You would think they would have to be, but then how do they get their children taken away?
I wonder if you put shaky cheese in the carpet, if Mama lit. Stop it.
While we were sleeping, I slept in front of the oven, and I said, "Dad, I'm gonna guard the big chicken." What were you like as a teen?
Okay.
Long story short, I think
Drug
that
addicts
I rebelled.
who can't buy their child more than one pair of pants and one shirt,
Are putting
who
on big
don't
elaborate
care to
dinners.
feed them, are putting on big turkey dinners and Easter egg hunts. The math is not mathing.
Because I was going through a lot. I was in foster care again, and so I started smoking weed. And I started drinking. I either ditched school or didn't care about school. This is actually how I found out that Santa wasn't real. Again, I was young. I was 8.
What?
You didn't know?
Where did the presents come from?
I was still with my parents at the time, and this was right before I got taken from them. I was 8.
Okay, well, hold on.
The big chicken. What were you like as a teen? Long story short, I
Teenager.
think that I rebelled because
I know, right? Ham and Beans is Hobie lying. Santa's real, of course.
I was going through a lot. I was in foster care again, and so I started smoking weed. And I started drinking. I either ditched school or didn't care about school. This is actually how I found out that Santa wasn't real. Again, I was young. I was 8. I was still with my parents.
Okay, so we're back to 8.
Yeah, we're just jumping around the timeline.
Right before I got taken from them. I was 8 years old. Maybe I was 7. I was 8.
All right, now, so we were 7, 8, and 9.
Yes.
When we got taken.
Yes.
Then we were back with them.
You're going to take notes?
Even better.
There we go.
So we got a timeline here, okay?
Okay.
Timeline.
So
the timeline starts at 7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
8 or
God
7.
damn it. 7, 8, and 9. That's when it
Yes.
starts.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Okay.
So we get 2 trial visits.
That's what it's seeming like.
So,
but she has not specifically said it was 2 trial visits. It's been, I was on a trial visit this age, I was on a trial visit this age. We have not gotten a definitive number of how many there were.
So the police come and take us from school. I'm going to do a little siren. At 7, 8, and 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Then, at 12 years old, we have another trial visit. Why are you not? Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Police come. Okay?
Okay.
Then, at 14, we get another trial visit.
Yes. Do the police come there?
And the police come.
Do they?
That's what she said.
Or, I mean, she didn't say the police came. She said she went back to foster care. Doesn't mean the police came.
No, she said the police came when she was 14 and at 7. So maybe not at the 12?
Maybe not at 12. The police don't have to come every time for them to fail their trial visit.
So,
I mean, maybe when her dad took her to get her nose pierced at 12, they said you failed your trial visit.
Maybe. But this is the questionable one. Because she said the police came and then she had to go to court.
Okay.
The police came and took her and then brought her back to her parents and then she had to go to court.
Okay.
And then took her from her parents again.
Yes.
So I think this was probably when the police came.
Maybe.
Or, my personal theory.
14 was school pickup. 12 was the trial with the father.
Okay. So 14 was when the police came and we had Schrodinger's police officers.
Yes.
Where they came and did not come.
Yes.
And somewhere in here, somewhere from here to 18.
She was in foster care the whole time.
The whole time. The foster care is this whole time. But multiple trial runs.
Yes.
And Disney trips and Fiji water and boating days and all that stuff with lavish Thanksgiving and Easter dinners.
Yes.
Okay.
And parents who would not buy her more than one pair of pants.
Yes. Sin, check your damn phone.
But made an Easter egg hunt.
Just living my best life, sleeping. All of a
Oh
sudden,
my God, you
I
are
hear
just
this
straight up taking
loud
notes.
noise. And my mom was right next to the Christmas tree.
Fantastic.
And her water had broke. And I heard her say to my dad, I was putting Santa's gifts under the tree and my water broke. That is how I found out there was no longer any Santa. He was no longer, but I also got...
Oh, so she was home at 8.
Yes. This time when she was 8, it was when she was at home.
Okay, so...
Susan's right. If she would say I was in 3rd grade, I was in 7th grade, I was in whatever grade.
So that
her timeline would be more
7
believable.
And eliminates 8.
Got my baby brother. He was actually put in closed adoption a very, very long time ago. So I have 3 younger brothers. Tony was born.
Okay, so now we have 4 brothers. Great movie. 4 brothers, not 3.
What?
She said she had one older, 2 younger. Now she has 4 younger. Or 3 younger.
Yeah, 3.
So
she's the oldest.
The 4th one...
He doesn't exist.
Dissolved?
He was like Santa. He wasn't real.
Born when I was 1.5. Jonathan was
We have Schrodinger's brother, who is simultaneously older and younger.
Born when I was 8. James was born when I was 11. This Amberlynn Reid's brother story doesn't add up, literally. But there's like a picture of my brother. That was when we were 17 and he was 16.
So this was 2008? Because if it was 2007...
She's like, I think I got caught.
Yeah.
We were
Don't help me,
16,
Becky.
We didn't turn 17.
No, that's not in 2008. What makes you think that was 2008, honey?
You said 16.
No,
17.
He was 16. I was 17.
So then that would either make...
2008.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's because now this person's like, you said you were 8 when you held him. He was born when you were 11. This isn't... If I said I was 8 when I held him, then that was just a miss. That was a slip.
Well, how old were you when you saved his life? Because it's obviously after you were 8 and you didn't live at home.
Weird.
Just make it no sense. I was in foster care and later got my sisters out of it. Almost everything she says is bogus or doesn't make sense. All of the group homes lock up the kitchen and constantly raid your room as standard procedure. I believe it.
I definitely believe that.
Car.
Because my brother Jonathan. Oh, you're probably getting confused because
you're confused.
You're just an idiot.
Ew.
Why were you listening so closely to what I was saying? Anyways, I was just making it up.
Ew.
I said Jonathan was born when I was 8. Yeah, you're just confused. It's fine. How'd you save the baby from being strangled that was born the age you said you were in foster care? I've made a video about this, but my brother Jonathan, he was in his crib, which was located in the living room next to curtains, and the curtains had really long strings. My parents were, I'm assuming, loaded off of and they were
Also, it didn't even occur to me till just now.
Mm-hmm.
Their drug of choice
is meth.
But not here.
I mean, you can also like heroin.
Yes, you can, but if you're that into it, you're not spending the extra money on the other thing.
Oh, yes, you are.
Honked out to the world, yet right next to the crib. I was like, okay, just another night, living, best life. I was in the middle bedroom of the trailer, which was the only thing in between the bedroom and the living room was a mini kitchen. I was watching Roseanne. My brother started crying, kept crying. Then
I am so petty about this. I would see when Roseanne was on the air and compare it to this story.
I feel like this story is probably fake. She probably remember however many years
Somebody
ago
said
it was a big thing about don't have your babies around blinds with cords, and they started making all the cordless blinds, and it was like a big thing. Cut the cords off your blinds. Don't let your babies, they're gonna choke to death on the cords. And Amber probably heard this and was like, my brother almost died from one of those blinds cords, and she just makes shit up.
Somebody said that this sounds like the story of Trainspotting.
It was a type of cry that I've never heard before. I went out there. He was purple, like on the verge of death.
But you're not crying if you're choking.
Because the curtain strings was wrapped around his neck.
Mike Tyson's daughter died from choking on a curtain cord?
Wow.
Amber's
brother almost did too.
I'm compelled to make a timeline. Okay, we need to get the minds together.
Mm-hmm.
And get a blackboard.
Yeah, the crying while also being strangled and blue doesn't make sense. You would not be crying if you were strangling to death to the point that you were blue.
Neck. I was screaming at my parents, shaking them, and they wouldn't wake up. I had to save my brother's life. He was literally on the verge of death. And if it wasn't for me being there, he would have died. I think in a video, I'm pretty sure I shared how when I was first taken.
I think Feline has a story very similar to this. Amber was blue and choking to death on a potato. And if she had not been there, Amber would have literally died.
And from my parents, I only had 2 brothers at the time. One was a baby. That was Jonathan. And one was my other brother, Tony, which he's a year and a half younger than I am. And the minute we were put into...
But there were 3 younger brothers.
They all got choked by potatoes and blinds. And Amber saved the day.
Foster care. My baby brother Jonathan was automatically placed in a home. My mom then proceeded to get pregnant when I was 10, but she went to jail just to be sober. She purposely got herself in trouble just to go to jail to be sober so she could give birth to my baby brother, her son, while she was sober. That's a crazy story. You only hear that,
We need a timeline. We need a fucking actual timeline.
In movies, I feel like, and I was in foster care at the time, but I had visitation with my parents. The day after my brother James was born, I was able to hold him. It's just very triggering to have to talk about it, but it's also therapeutic to talk about it.
It's very triggering to have to talk about it. Please ask me more questions.
Yes.
Was in foster care for most of my life. I actually saved my baby brother because my parents were on so many drugs when I was about 9 years old, and my
my parents were on drugs. She's so fucking full of herself. Like, I am a living teen movie. Have you seen Degrassi? So I could be on that show.
We were home at 9. So that debunks 8.
My brother was choking really bad. He was in his crib. He was just a baby. Curtain string was around his neck. He was completely purple, couldn't breathe, and I saved his life.
So I just want to say, this video is kind of hard to film, and I kind of wanted to share it with you guys. When I was a little girl, my parents, they did every drug imaginable. They would go in the bathroom.
I have art supplies, a whiteboard, and unparalleled dislike for this hammock. Let's make it. I have a whiteboard too.
Somewhere.
I have 2 whiteboards.
Yeah, you have a black one.
I have 3 whiteboards. Why the fuck do I have 3 whiteboards?
Because you keep buying them.
That is where they would do their drug of choice, and they'd be in there for hours and hours and hours a day. When they would...
So they cared enough to go in the bathroom. That's unlike most drug addict parents I've met.
I don't know if they were gonna be like super hyper. I want to clean everything. Oh my god, I talk so fast. I'm gonna be up for like 3 days. I didn't know if they were gonna be out screaming at me for every little thing ever, slamming.
I'm taking notes. I'll send you the scan. Thank you. I swear to God. Sin, the next goal is for more whiteboards. I have a blacklight one. That one's up in the studio.
That's a nice one.
I have a 4x4 white one.
Yeah, why do you keep getting such big ones too? I got this whiteboard and it's like 20 feet long. Like, where the fuck are you gonna put that?
No, I didn't get a 20-foot whiteboard.
They're humongous.
It's 4x4.
That's humongous.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be that big. Like, it doesn't look that big.
It's humongous.
Walmart.
It does.
But when I get it home in the studio, home in the studio, when I get it in the studio, I'm like, okay.
I have nowhere to put it.
I definitely overcompensated a little bit with this one.
Things, throwing things, breaking each other's bones. I didn't know if they were going to come out unable to even speak, loaded out of their brains. They wouldn't be able to like do anything without. As a little girl, I loved Nick at Night. We lived in a trailer.
Nothing like grandma doing a line at the table on Thanksgiving. That's instead of Grace, everyone puts their heads down and you just hear, eat.
In the middle room was the only room that had a TV besides a living room, but that's where my parents were. Completely passed out. I could literally bang pots and pans and they wouldn't hear me.
Can we create an email just for timeline entries? I want to say yes, but I know I'm never going to do anything with it. So, Discord me.
Discord. I was in the middle room. It was like my...
But if you're going to submit to the timeline, I swear to God, I'm going to start this next week. If you want to submit to the timeline, you have to send a timestamp.
Okay.
Safe place. And all of a sudden, my baby brother was...
DM on Discord, not just post it in the Discord.
Was literally just crying his eyes out, and he was barely even 1, or he might have been 1, a little over 1, but it was like around that age. So I kind of just let my baby brother cry.
Susan, she's such a whore. Excitedly airing all her parents' dirty laundry is insane. She is fucking giddy about it. She's smiling, she's happy, she's telling these stories. Guys, do you know what a victim I am? Like, she fucking loves it, and it's so gross. Her poor mother should not have to hear her talking about her like this if she really is such a wonderful woman.
Oh, please. Oh, fuck. Okay, guys, can you hold on 1 second? I gotta mute the desktop audio. Hold on. Oh, no? Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, no. Dude. Thank you for let me know. See how that was.
What's he say?
A no-show tonight.
Well, I have to hurry up and start getting ready for what you call it.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't even do the Chantel thing.
No, I have to go to my class.
Oh, well, I can get that stuff done easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to turn the audio back on.
Wake up. I think I was about 8 years old at this moment. He just kept on crying and I was getting annoyed. I started turning Roseanne up. I turned up Roseanne for as loud as it could go. It was an old TV. Like, we're like literally trailer park trash. There are a lot of people who live in trailers who are not trailer park trash. Like, but I can admit for myself, that's what we were. That's what everyone saw.
Willow Winter, welcome to the plebs. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As I started hearing like a cry that I wasn't used to. It started to become the sound of like it wanted to come out but it like couldn't. My brother's crib was in the living room and it was next to these windows with these really big like curtains and they had long strings on the curtains. It was a small trailer, disgusting trailer, might I add. I went out there to scream at them.
It's a disgusting trailer, might I add, because I've talked about how disgusting it was so many times. I've got to mention it again. It was super disgusting.
And I saw the
Stop being mean to Polly. He knows it comes from a place of love.
The strings from the curtains were wrapped around his neck. Like hardcore, just like wrapped. I don't know how it
I quoted that from The Gentleman the other day.
Okay.
You've never seen that. You have to watch The Gentleman.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Would you watch it?
No.
Why?
It looks stupid.
It's a great movie.
I've seen the clips. It looks dumb.
It is a fucking amazing... Anyway, it was the line where it's Colin Farrell is talking to one of the guys, and he goes, "I need that Chinese fucker's address." And the other guy's like, "Hey, you black cunt, I'm training over here alone. Get up in the stage." And the guy goes, "Did you just call me a black cunt? That's racist. You can't do that." And Colin Farrell's like, I don't think he cares what race you're running, and more likely it came from a place of love.
What happened? Obviously, he did it.
That's the line.
Was that supposed to be funny?
No, it's just that it came from a place of love.
Yeah, okay.
Like, but I don't know how he did it. As gently, but as fastly as I could, I got the cords from around his neck, and he started breathing again. It took like a minute. It disgusts me as a 25-year-old girl to think that people will do so many drugs that they can't even take care of their own children. One of the moments that like made me realize, like, holy shit, my parents are psycho. Like, a couple.
Okay, yes, guys, I see. Careful, Shadowclaw. I will have to take you out if you post shit like that. You made me forget what I was gonna say.
Months later, after that moment, that is when I was put into foster care, and my whole foster care experience is a whole other like video. Like, I have been requested to do that video so many times, and I just can't. I will.
I removed it. Yeah, quoting a movie is not carte blanche to say shit like that in the chat.
And now he is put into a closed adoption, and I haven't seen him in, I want to say, like 13 years. After the situation where he started breathing better and he wasn't as purple and stuff, like, I held on to him for dear life, and my parents still didn't wake up. They didn't wake up, I want to say, for like a day and a half, and I had to do everything for my little brother. I had 2 little brothers at the time. My other brother was just like a year younger than I, so he was like 7. But these are some lighthearted questions, so if you want to get to know the childhood Amberlynn Reid a little bit more, let's get into this. What was your favorite vacation you went on?
I just can't, because it's a huge life foster care. I think at the most generous I can be with this is that she is great. And this is me taking her side.
Mm-hmm.
Is that this is grossly over exaggerated.
Absolutely.
As a child, my parents did drugs. I was in foster care. You know, I did live with my parents until I was 8, 9. But while living with my parents, we would go camping, and we would go every summer for my brother's birthday. My dad, he would go fishing, and he knew how to like gut a fish. We would catch crawdads together. You know, me and my brother would bring bikes, and we would ride our bikes around.
They would go camping and fishing with their bikes, while her parents were so high they couldn't function.
And when was this?
I don't know. I missed the age. I was hearing the dog bark.
So every summer for my brother's birthday, my dad, he would go fishing, and he knew how to like gut a fish. We would catch crawdads together. You know, me and my brother would bring bikes, and we would ride our bikes around. It was a...
Okay. Poltergeisha, put that in the timeline.
This every summer.
Every summer.
Popular camp place. So I think it was the last Christmas I actually had with my family before I got put into foster care. My mom was actually pregnant.
No ages.
No, just forever.
Okay, last Christmas before foster care.
So that would have been 8. That's right. The 8 or 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's 7,
somewhere
8,
in there. And
that's when she found out Sam
her brother is how much younger than her?
I don't know. There's multiple brothers that their ages keep changing.
With my brother Jonathan, who is now in closed adoption.
You know what, Susan? That's a good catch. She has talked incessantly about her druggy parents and has given exceedingly scant details about her years in foster care. That's true. She keeps saying, I'm going to make a story all about my time in foster care. And then she just says a little bit or a little bit or a little bit. But it's a whole lot about my childhood stories.
Okay, and there, she was put into a home for difficult kids at age 12. Not foster care, but difficult kids.
Yeah.
Which is not foster care.
No.
That's something that the parents have to pay for.
No, not always. Sometimes you just go.
Usually the parents have to pay. These places don't do this shit for free.
That's true.
No one's just taking a fucking asshole kid for free.
Like, you would think she would have some crazy stories from foster care to tell.
Mm-hmm.
People trying to fight her or this or that or whatever. Somebody stealing her something. Like, there would be stories from foster care.
Every single Christmas, I would sleep on the couch because I wanted to meet Santa. So I'm just sleeping on the couch, you know, living my best life. And all of a sudden, I hear this loud noise from my mom. And she was standing there, and I don't think she knew I was awake. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, my water broke while I was putting out the kids' Santa gifts." So that's how I found out my mom had.
And also, remember, this was the baby her mom had in jail.
This was also when her parents were so high on drugs that she got taken away from them just months later. But they were buying Christmas gifts and doing the Santa thing.
Jonathan, that Christmas, I just wonder how he's doing, where he's at, who he is as a person. And same with my brother James, because they were both put into closed adoption. I feel like I had quite a
Amber delivered the baby and saved Christmas.
Yeah.
few best friends in my younger years, childhood. Then I got taken from my parents, and I remember getting a call when I was at the children's shelter. My grandma called and she said that Kay had moved away to Tennessee. I think that was the first time I've ever been like brokenhearted over a person, besides like the, you know, my family issues and stuff and the things I went through regarding that. Fast forward, when I was 16, I think I was 15. Yeah, I was 15 and I got to do like this trial thing, live with my parents.
Okay, now it's 16.
It's 16 or 15.
12, 14, and 16.
Yes, so maybe every 2 years they let them try a trial run.
Not at 10?
And apparently not a 10.
To see if they were suitable to be parents, to see if, you know, I could get out of foster care, blah,
Timeline.
blah, blah. So during that time, I actually went to the fair in my hometown. Yeah, I was going through a lot when I was 15. That's actually the year that I went to.
Now 15.
It seems like if the parents care so much to keep trying the trial things, they would actually try and keep their kids back.
Now it's 15. Poltergeist. Clock it. At 12, 14, 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
A mental hospital. Whole other subject. As a child, I was on a soccer team. I was on a softball team. I was in a dance group.
Those
I would rollerblade.
all cost money.
Yep.
Soccer team, softball team, dance group. That shit's expensive as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Who's paying for that?
Roller skate.
Meth heads were not
I don't
paying
want to
for
say
that.
athletic, but I kind of was. That was actually a fun childhood tag. I'm surprised that I don't have diabetes because it runs in the family. I don't think I have ever seen someone have such bad diabetes than my dad. Growing up, he was in a diabetic coma. I saw at a young age.
A diabetic coma. This is in the timeline.
She said she was a ward of the state when they put her in foster care when she was 8. But they don't do the reuniting visits once you're a ward of the state.
Yeah.
So she was not a ward of the state.
No.
She went to some kind of temporary housing thing.
I'm telling you, man, it was
probably just with one of her family members.
I think that she got put in foster care for like 2 months.
Probably.
They did an investigation.
Yep.
Everything was fine.
Yep.
Went back.
He has this really bad ulcer on the bottom of his foot, and he still has it. They want to amputate his foot, and they've wanted to amputate his foot for over a decade. And not only does my dad have it, but both of my grandmas. Here's a little factoid. Story time. The closest person I have ever had in my family is my grandma Judy. She passed away. Was like my mom when my mom couldn't be my mom or didn't want to be my mom or wasn't my mom. And this was during the time when this was during a trial with my parents to see if they were fit to be parents again because I was in foster care. This whole...
Because I was in foster care. In case you didn't know, I was in foster care. I have no stories about that. Nothing to tell you about that. But my grandma, she was basically my mom.
Okay.
So grandma raised her. Is what we're finding out.
I don't even buy that.
Whole aspect was happening during that trial. This reminds
Conspiracy theory, Amber's parents wouldn't let her have an extra snack, so she called CPS.
me of when I lived with my parents. Like they did.
See if you can clock the time, the year. What a freeze. The year on that one, Poltergeist. Add that to the timeline. Child trial run.
Drugs, so they didn't think clearly. They were obsessed with scratchers. My dad had his own lawnmower shop, and in the back there was like this room where they would do the drugs at. On the wall, literally,
A business
owning drug addict.
A business owning, camp taking, Disney going, Fiji buying, boat tripping, meth addict in a decrepit, dilapidated trailer.
There are people that can do drugs and still function in life.
Yes.
And still take care of their kids.
But this is some high functioning.
This is high
for
functioning.
living in a trailer.
For living in a dilapidated trailer, this is high functioning. It's either one or the other. It's either her parents were perfectly fine parents who did drugs sometimes. She went to foster care one time and they got arrested. They got her back. And she's just blowing this whole story out of proportion.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Her dad's giving Ric Flair a run for his money.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
early they made it to where they, like, you couldn't see the walls. It was just nothing but scratch offs.
And they could buy lotto tickets like crazy. So where did they get the money for that?
And lavish meals, and Disney trips, and camping. Ooh, Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So, I know I'm in the minority here, and I am fine with that. I am okay with being more skeptical than the average viewer. I don't buy a fucking word.
Yeah, a lot of it's bullshit.
If half of what she says is half true, then she had the worst childhood I've ever heard. It's like Ethiopian kids.
Then Amber.
Yeah. Like it's the worst of the worst. It's okay, hold on. It's like Ethiopian kids, that kid from Breaking Bad, then just a cunt hair above Amber.
Ethiopian kids probably have more than one shirt.
With a lot of Super Bowl losing jerseys. Are we gonna get some the Steiner math should be a donation. I gotta write that down. Steiner math.
Amberlynn's dad's lottery winning slams link. Oh God.
Steiner math is definitely. Oh, and $37.
I would love to hear Amber's mom's side.
I would. I think what this is doing is setting the clock.
Yeah.
For Amber coming out saying my mom used me for money, etc., etc., etc.
It's possible.
And then some reaction channel is going to reach out to mom and say, your daughter is saying all this. Do you want to defend yourself?
Yeah.
I think the clock is set for that to happen.
Jennifer's got a good theory. Amber probably started telling tales at school. The teachers contacted social services. She probably lied to get attention, and since she did not realize the severity of her lies, she got taken. And then the parents got the trial run. They figured out everything was fine. She got to go back home, but she spent a couple months away from her parents, and it's a whole big blown out of proportion story.
That could be. But there is shit there with her mom.
I mean, there's definitely her mom's obviously likes to fight.
Her mom's got a rap sheet.
Yeah.
So there is a truth somewhere in this, but it is definitely not what Amber's saying.
Yeah.
It is 100% not what she's saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think Amber's full of baloney.
Most likely, she got taken by her grandma.
Yeah, I mean, she even said her grandma was like her mom. So
that is where, like, something happened. Jennifer's theory is pretty solid. Got taken by grandma, spent half the time with grandma.
Yep.
No foster care, no group homes.
No, she was just with grandma, and her mom was out running the streets, getting high and stealing shit.
Yep, that's where my money's at.
That would make perfect sense.
Okay, you got to get going.
I do.
I don't have a show to do, but I do have stuff to do. So, guys, thank you for coming and hanging out. Thank you for a fun show. Let me know what you think down below.